Slow AF fabrication and fab and painting and stuff. We do painting, boom. Do welding and fabrication.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the driveway, and let's welcome back in our friend, the old leaf covered street tractor. So if you guys seen the title of the video, what are we doing today? So basically, we got more sled pulling I want to get done this year, and one thing that I really wanted to get built before my first sled pull were bump stops, because the factory bump stops, well, they kind of do this under load. Now, I've assembled everything of scrap metal that I could find to pretty much be able to put this together. So we're going to go to the basics of measurements, and you're going to watch me do some really shitty MIG welding, and then we're going to test fit it on the truck, and then we're going to, clean it up, make it look nice, presentable. So let's go ahead and get into it today. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. So we have a factory bump stop right here. Let's do some basic measurements here. Alright, so if we line this up, we're thereabouts 6 inches in total length. What you're going to need, 2 plates, roughly about 6 inches. And you're going to need some square tubing. So I chose everything roughly about the same size. So we had about an 1/8 of an inch plate, and I had some 2-inch tubing that I'd found that's about the same plate width. So we're 1/8 of an inch on the plate, 1/8 of an inch tubing with overall 2 inches. So what do we do for length? Alright, so if you guys can see there, that's where the bump stop would obviously bottom out, and that's where you're mounting it at right there. Get a little zoom action here. Alright, so roughly the measurement I had, which was 7 inches from the top of the frame rail, 7.5 roughly from the top of the frame rail all the way to the bottom of the bump stop. Now obviously when you're building these you can do whatever you want, but depending on what class you're running and what have you, hitch height will come into play. So most of the area where pulling is down here, 25-26 inches is pretty much the legal hitch height. Now, depending on your tire size, how much load you want to have in the bed and what have you, is going to determine you want for size. So roughly, I've got 6 1/4 length tubing here that I'm going to use with the plates, weld these two together. I know these are not cut that great, but again, I'm doing the job. I'm not buying these. I'm not paying for these. This is square tubing I found in scrap bin, and I have zero money invested into this. Also, before the comment section goes crazy, yeah, I could have went and bought these, yes. I probably could have done a hell of a lot more research, but this is what I came up with. This is what I'm going to try in October for our next sled pull at Dino Camp. This may or may not work, but to be honest with you, to compare the size of these versus factory, which I will do. Alright, so again, factory bump stop and the ones that we're going to put together. So, already quite a difference there. And then we'll go ahead and measure that up. It is roughly almost 4 inches in difference. Now again, I'm probably going to have a few 100 pounds at least in the bed, which will bring it down a little bit. Now you throw on 36,000 pounds or whatever the sled's going to be at, it's going to bring it down that much more. Why do I care about all this? Because my first pull, if anybody had seen the video, when this thing got underweight near the 200, 220 mark where the truck was, you see the front end almost fully lift up in the air, and it wants the Duramax and the front end shattering. That's why I shut the truck down when I got to the 230, 250 mark, because I didn't want to destroy anything in the front end. Now, hopefully, with installing these, we won't have that problem. So let's go ahead and get to welding. I'm tired of talking. Alright boys, so we're just test fitting it right now to make sure that we're still somewhat in place and square. And you know, for a guy who's nowhere near a fabricator, I can barely read a measuring tape, but look at that boys. We have everything lined up perfectly. And we're not that far off. I will still make contact regardless. I have enough space where I can probably pivot this a little bit and make this line up exactly perfect, because right now I'm slightly off. It'll still hit, but not bad for a guy who's not a fabricator. Come on. Alright guys, so we have the second one test mounted, as you can tell right there. We're pretty much spot on, kind of like the other side. We should be fine clearancing of the U-bolts and everything, and we should still be able to bottom out. Distance isn't too far off from what the other one was, and again, when I sled pull, I at least put enough weight to the point where this thing drops down a little bit. So far, so good. Alright, so while we're waiting for everything to cool, let's go over some basic measurements once again. So, we'll go over plate length, 6 inches. Hole to hole diameter, so center to hole, center hole. Try to get this lined up here and film at the same time. It's roughly about 5 1/4, 5. Actually, it's about 5 1/16. Hey guys, so we got the paint booth all set up out here. I want to show you where we're at with it. All right, there we go. So far, we got 2 passes on there. We'll do some clear of nothing but the finest cat yellow shit we have. Alright boys, look at that. So we're fully installed there. And we're fully installed right there. Old slow AF fab, baby. So we're going to go ahead and test drive this thing. Just briefly, I want to see if we can get the bottom out just around this area here. Alright guys, you've seen it in the video. That was just me moving the truck in and out of my driveway. It's got a bit of a slope right there, but it was able to at least restrict the height, and it actually did what a bump stop's supposed to do. So, at least I know it works. Didn't crack the welds, didn't shear the bolts, didn't do anything crazy. So, that's a pretty good win in my book right there for slow AF fab. So we're going to go ahead and finish the video off there. Do what you guys always do. Like, share, subscribe. P-Pump the world. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. See you guys later.